Obama's Change, More Tyranny and Oppression by activist artist Nathan Janes of Pupaganda.com. Read to you by Photon Man of PhotonMan.com. In January of 2009, as the American economy teetered on the brink of economic collapse, the most prominent story within the mainstream media, called The Greatest Mystery Since Watergate, was the selection of the Obama family pet. With the election of Barack Obama, many Americans, relieved that change was on the way, focused their attention on such trivial matters as the presidential dog, rather than the state of continual economic decline within our country. This phenomenon came on the heels of a successful election campaign where Americans were sold the Obama brand through terrific marketing and public relations. Everyone was buying hope and change, with not only their votes, but with their time and energy. The Obama campaign recruited well over 2 million volunteers, a number unprecedented by any other election campaign within U.S. history. Before Obama even won the election, he seemed to be assigned messianic status, normally associated with royalty and totalitarian leaders. As part of his public relations campaign, celebrities openly pledged service to the Obama administration and asked Americans to also become agents of change. Although Obama was to be the administrator of change, much of what his administration would bring would be more of the same. The Democratic presidential elect was expected to reverse the assaults to the Constitution that occurred over the previous 8 years under the Republican president. However, under the Obama administration, warrantless wiretapping, secret arrests, indefinite detention of citizens, and the use of torture have all been expanded. The Obama administration effectively expanded the gains of tyranny and oppression achieved by the previous administration. Obama supported the banker bailout, allowing bankers to make off with trillions in taxpayers' money, bankrupting the future of our country for generations to come. His administration doled out taxpayers' money to Wall Street, causing rampant inflation, a lowering of living standards, and the destruction of the dollar. An engineered destruction of the economy is occurring. Our manufactured industry, civil liberties, and monetary foundations are all rapidly eroding. America has been reduced from an industrial economy to a service economy, selling the goods of other nations. Within his election campaign, Obama made a number of promises that would soon be broken. Among these, he pledged to end NAFTA and GATT, but once in office expanded both. He promised to have the most transparent administration ever, but instead many aspects of his presidency have been cloaked in secrecy. Obama's first official act as president was to seal the release of his personal records with an executive order. He made the names of visitors to the White House private, protecting the identity of those who visit and may influence policy decisions. Obama, a constitutional lawyer, stated that he would not control Congress with signing statements the way his predecessor had. However, Obama has used signing statements on several occasions to manipulate legislation passed by Congress. Since his executive order imposing a 2-year waiting period for lobbyists entering his administration, more than 40 ex-lobbyists have populated top jobs in the administration. Obama pledged to wait 5 days before signing bills passed by Congress to allow review by the public. Since Obama's election, bills have been rushed through the Congress and voted on before anyone has an opportunity to read them. Congress was given less than an hour to read the revisions to the 1,070-page stimulus bill. Obama stated the stimulus bill was so urgent that it had to be passed before Congress could read it. The anti-war candidate in the 2008 election, Obama has extended the war and increased the number of troops involved while also expanding the defense budget. He promised to abolish the Patriot Act, only to reinstate it while continuing the Bush administration's policy of rendition, the arrest of any citizen labeled an enemy combatant, and the indefinite detention of citizens without any evidence of crime. In 1787, at the close of the Constitutional Convention, Benjamin Franklin was asked what type of government the Constitution was bringing into existence. Franklin replied, "A republic, if you can keep it." A republic, a form of government ruled by law, provides for the limitation of government and the protection of the rights of the people. Over the last 50 years, the government system of the U.S. and several other countries has transformed into an oligarchy, ruled by a small group of individuals who essentially obtain their power by buying it. Donors of the Obama campaign were a who's who of multinational corporations, Wall Street interests, and banks. The influence that these high-level campaign contributors have on the legislators and the president shapes the law of the country and the flow of taxpayers' dollars. The powerful few shape the minds of the public through the use of covert public relations, techniques disseminated by the mass media, so that few citizens are aware of the role these individuals play in shaping the situations of us all. At the beginning of the 21st century, we are witnessing the beginnings of a total takeover of the American economy and the micromanagement of all aspects of every citizen's private life. Contrary to its carefully crafted title, the Patriot Act allows for the collection of intelligence on law-abiding American citizens, not just suspected terrorists. The Patriot Act permits those who may resist an accelerated move towards the fascist corporate globalization of a one-world government to be effectively subdued. In the years following 9/11, the public has been asked to spy on one another and report suspicious individuals. Children in schools have been asked to report bad behavior of their parents and classmates for cash rewards. A report by the Missouri Information Analysis Center stated Ron Paul and Bob Barr supporters were potential terrorists. A climate has been created where anyone that openly disagrees with the direction of the government is demonized, surveyed, and harassed. America is increasingly resembling Hitler's East Germany and Stalin's Russia. The 2010 Universal National Service Act, H.R. 5741, proposed 2 years of forced national service of all Americans between the ages of 18 and 42. According to Obama, quote, "We cannot continue to rely on our military in order to achieve the national security objectives we've set. We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well-funded," end quote. A domestic security force equaling the size of the U.S. Army would be composed of 500,000 troops and a budget of over $400 billion. This idea was further promoted by Obama's chief of staff, Rahm Emanuel, who advocated mandatory national service in his book, The Plan, and proposed youth service as a civilian counterpart to the military. Homeland Security is recruiting Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts to aid their efforts. The free and open society that our forefathers envisioned is being replaced by a police state. Restoration of America's rights and freedoms will not come from Democrats or Republicans. It will only come from American citizens educated about their constitutional rights who demand a government that serves them. Unless we restore our republic, any future president and their administration can further subvert our liberties. When will we realize that voting in the lesser of two evils is not the solution to the problem? We can choose to not vote for evil at all. Over the last 50 years, presidents have not been elected, but selected and sold to us by the mainstream media perception managers working for the ruling oligarchy. The false left-right paradigm only guarantees a vote away from our unalienable rights and freedoms. It is marching us into a new world order no matter who the puppet in office. Our forefathers asked us to fight for liberty in the founding documents of this nation. Quote, "But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security." End quote. It is our duty to protect liberty and to usurp control from the tyrannical powers of today. Copyright 2010, Nathan Janes. This has been a Pupaganda production.